ask yourself the damn question. Is winning the only thing we do?
Sports today are not just played on the field. They're played every day, online, all over the world, by sports fans just like you.
Don't you dare breathe. That won't get you anywhere. If you don't think you're a winner, you don't belong here.
The Star Fantasy League Show puts you in control of your own team. Find out who to sit, who to start, how to play, and have your daily fantasy sports questions answered with your host, Jonathan Sprung, and co-host SFL CEO Zach Stanley and Nick Steblenko. The Star Fantasy League Show is on the air now.
Hello and welcome to the Star Fantasy League Show here on the Sports Byline USA Network. I am your host, Jonathan Sprung, joined, as always, by SFL CEO, Mr. Zach Stanley.
Jonald, I have something to say to all non-Bruins fans. Go Canadians!
Okay.
Woo!
Okay, because
Heck of a game last night, another win, 2-1 Canadians, Carey Price rules. PK Subban rules. Keep it going, boys.
Because if your team is somewhere in Canada, the Vancouver Canucks, you just assume your allegiances could transfer over to the Montreal Canadiens?
Well, I would think that at this point in time, given the past matchups between the Bruins and Canucks, that the Canadian fans are, meshing together with my Canucks fans.
All right, another guy that has something to do with a team that's not involved in the playoffs. Teddy bear number 2, Nick Steblenko.
You're stirring up a little controversy there. I think my wife is going to be quite displeased with you, Zach.
Don't care.
She is an adamant Bruins fan.
Yeah, go Bruins.
Yeah, it must be nice to root for the Bruins all the time.
Oh, my. Stop
geez.
that.
Oh, geez.
Stop trashing.
Oh, my goodness.
Nick, I believe you have something you wanted to bring up on the Star Fantasy League show.
Yeah, that's true. I got to give a tip of the cap to Major League Baseball. They got something right last night. Yeah, they got something right. Not a lot of people are talking about this, but if it went the other way, we would be all over
What are you talking about quickly?
All right, so Starling Marte, he hit a triple. They overthrew it at third base, and he came in to home for the win. Yes, for the walk-off. He slid into home, and the ump originally called him out. Well, since we have replay and we have the challenge, they challenged it, and they got the call right. Pittsburgh ended up winning in a walk-off. That could come back to give them a win, a very valuable win down the line.
Hey, look at that. They got it right.
And in my opinion, we've seen a couple calls this year that they have reviewed that for some reason they still have decided not to change.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Here on the Star Fantasy League show, we don't need review. We get it right the first time, every time, unless it's Zach changing his pick, which you do
and
quite
taking
often.
the Trailblazers last night.
Ooh. All right, so coming up on the show, we got plenty. We got NBA lineup breakdown. We got value plays. And, of course, we got Channel's mailbag. Coming up after the first break, we obviously have NBA lineup breakdown with Nick Steblenko. Nick, are you gonna not?
I'm gonna bring it.
You gonna win?
I'm gonna bring it.
You're not gonna make the same lineup.
I'm gonna make it 3 in a row.
Oh, okay. Big talk. All right, you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Now, let's get back to it. The Star Fantasy League Show. Feel free to tweet the show at SFL Show.
Let's do this.
Time for your Star Fantasy League's NBA Fantasy Lineup Breakdown.
It is time to break down our NBA lineups on StarFantasyLeagues.com for Wednesday.
I watched a lot of hockey last night. You know why? Because these games were freaking miserable.
Yeah, you know what? The first round was so much fun to watch. It was entertaining. Almost every game was close. But every game of the second round so far has been boring.
Yes. Well, you can't expect that to continue.
What, that it's good? Yeah, I mean...
The most exciting game that we have had in the first 4 games is when the Pacers almost closed it to 4 points.
Yeah, almost.
In game 1.
And they looked terrible. They looked terrible doing it.
Yeah. Okay, let's also remember the Pacers came out of a 7-game series, though.
Yeah, but...
Washington had a 5-game cakewalk, apparently.
And so did Brooklyn, but so did San Antonio, who just mopped the floor.
Destroyed, yeah. Okay. These series, they have to get better, right? Every single game was a blowout.
I think they have to. They're going to. Come on.
All right. What we need to talk about on the Star Fantasy League show is the fact that for the first time ever since we've been doing this show, all 3 of us had the exact same NBA lineup. And moments before close, you always say I do this. You changed your roster because you didn't want to tie me.
No, I thought that was the ruling. I had to make the change.
You had to make the change because I'm the one who suggested all these picks. Yeah. And you know what? The lineup was terrible. I didn't foresee that being such a blowout in that San Antonio. I went very heavy on San Antonio Portland. Did not expect a major blowout, and I got screwed.
Yeah, there were only so many players in that game that were actually viable.
Yep. And
One was Tim Duncan.
Yep.
Tony Parker.
Tony Parker,
who nobody had.
Kawhi. Not Manu.
Nope.
Not Aldridge. Nope. Not Lillard.
No.
Aldridge
had 50. Aldridge had 49.
He did?
Yeah. He got so many garbage points in that game.
I stopped paying attention.
Yeah, he got 49.
Hey, you're
Robin
focusing on the real
Robin
sport.
Lopez had a good game, too.
He looks good, too. That Mr. Sideshow Bob, Pineapple Bob hanging out.
Pineapple Bob?
Sideshow Bob has a pineapple haircut. So does Robin Lopez.
Right.
They look the same. Looks
You're
terrible.
talking about like the husk of the pineapple? Is that what you mean? Like the top of the pineapple?
It looks like he has a lot of cones on his head.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Fraying cones.
All right, I'm gonna say this. You got to win because you changed your lineup, but I did put up one of the worst lineups ever. You deserved that win.
Fair enough.
You deserved it. Congratulations. You're still 3 behind me.
I'll find a way to earn it.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Tonight,
I still got to rattle them all off here.
Keep
I got to
going.
rattle off the
Keep
next
going,
three.
TB2.
don't worry. You said we're going for 3 in a row or 4,
Yep.
whatever. So back it up.
Actually, I'm pretty sure. Well, no, yeah. I think there's a way I could still make it all happen. But anyways, I'm going to keep the streak going.
I'm big on the underdog. Let's go, TB2.
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. Let's go TB2.
Yeah. See, even John's rooting against himself.
Yeah. No. All right, I got to give a spiel. $100,000 salary cap on StarFantasyLeagues.com. 2 guards, 2 forwards, 2 centers, 2 utility. It's any player you want. Stay under the cap. Get the most points. Become Nick. Win the most money.
And you know what's cool about that $100,000 salary cap is that it's almost like every player is a percentage of the overall cap.
Wow,
Absolutely.
look at that. $12,000 salary. You're 12% of the cap.
Yeah, it makes it nice and easy. You can kind of fit players in just based on the percentage that they eat up of the cap.
It makes it easy for beginners.
Yep.
And we give you your average remaining salary every time you select a player.
That's pretty. Star Fantasy Leagues would make it pretty easy for the beginners and the experts.
It's innovative. It's great.
Look at that.
It is.
We're paving the way.
Hey, if I learned, anyone can learn.
Well, that's true. That is very true.
That's very true. Trust me. All right, well, I will start it off today.
Wait, hold on. He's going to start in the guard spot today, I think.
I'm going to start off in the center spot today with a guard. By the name of No, all right. So I'm going to take Bradley Beal. I wasn't really high on him, but man, I don't know. He came out hard.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
You weren't really high on him,
No, I
despite the
wasn't.
fact that I basically said he was my play of the day.
You didn't
Okay,
have him in your lineup.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
That's something
I
else.
made 2 lineups like I do every single day.
All right, but
This
you
is
were
not a new
big
thing.
on him. He was your play of the day. He's supposed to be in both of your lineups.
I really think he makes 2 lineups just so that he can say one of them was good.
Yeah, right.
Okay, hold on.
My
Now-
lineup was really good
Wait,
last
I
night.
have a
Which
question.
one, John?
Now, if I wasn't good at daily fantasy and both lineups are terrible, then you would say, wow, why do you have 2 terrible lineups every day? But I don't. It's very rare that I have 2 bad ones.
Well,
very rare.
Okay, regardless, the reason I wasn't high on Beal is because I actually thought Indy was going to come into this series and really get back to their roots, play really tough defense. They didn't do that.
Washington in 5.
I mean, right now it certainly looks like it could go that way.
Beal's
so.
average got boosted a lot after that performance last game for the playoffs, but he has been like over 24 fantasy points in almost every single game. I think maybe every single game.
Yep. He's been the most solid player on that team that is not a center or a power forward.
I mean, moving forward, that backcourt looks fantastic.
Yep. I'm very
Really
excited.
does.
This Washington Wizards team got a lot better, and Randy Whitman figured out how to coach them, which is nice.
Very true.
Yeah, if you're new to DFS NBA, you certainly know who Bradley Beal is now.
Yep,
Correct.
Absolutely. So I steered away from the Chris Paul route this time, and I'm going to throw in John Wall at $16,994. I figured, you know what, I'm going to try and round out my lineup a little bit more this time than go really, really big on Chris Paul.
You know what? I'm actually still on Chris Paul. I think he's the stud.
There's no reason to be off of him.
No, I understand.
He's fantastic.
I ended up getting a fairly balanced lineup still, but I don't know. John Wall in the playoffs, he hasn't been that assassin that's filling up the stat sheets and getting 50-point games, but Chris Paul has. I'm spending the extra, $1,200, $1,300 just to get him in.
Yeah, he could just as easily get 30. He's done that a few times, but he could just as easily get 50.
1,300. It's more like 4,000.
Is it really?
John Wall's just a shade under 17.
Well, Chris Paul's 20. Yeah, it's about 3. That's fine.
Fine.
I mean, still.
I mean, it's a step up, but you're looking at maybe, John Wall's hovering right around 30 to 35 fantasy points. Chris Paul could go off for like 55.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'd rather take the upside, especially on a 2-game slate like that, if I have better options on the low side, which actually I think today I might.
Understandable. I mean, I have a couple of other big name guys that I think I'm going to be good with. One of which is one of the forwards, Paul George. I think he needs to be great tonight. He's proven that he can be in the playoffs so far, so I like his chances tonight.
I have both of those on my list here.
You have Wall and Paul George, or CP3?
Oh, no. I have Beal and George. Oh, you said Paul George.
Bradley Beal, John Wall, and Paul George.
No, I have Paul George and CP3. I think those are my 2 high-end options for the day. Those are the 2 best guys I can get in. And I built something a little well-rounded other than that.
My lineup's going to tank tonight.
Oh, nice.
Good.
Good
All right.
positivity.
So,
I
Nick,
love
then
it.
you get your positivity in there since Zach is very down on his lineup.
All right. So one of my 2 low ball players tonight is going to be Luis Scola at 6,300. I think he needs to be a factor for them to win, so I'm going to take my chances at that price.
I agree with you. I think Jonald is shying towards another player on the opposite team that he thinks are going to get those minutes, Drew Gooden, but I disagree with him.
You disagree with me?
I think that Drew Gooden only got those minutes because Nene got in foul trouble. I don't see that happening again. And I think that if Roy Hibbert puts up another stinker, which is probably like 95% right now.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous.
Then Scola's going to be a guy that they need to bring in as a big man for offense.
Yeah,
I'm going out on a limb here. Drew Gooden played.
He had like 18 minutes.
Yeah, he also had 13 boards.
18 minutes, and that's the most minutes that he's gotten all playoffs.
I had 20 in Game 7. But Game 7 of that series. 5, whatever it was. Last game of the Washington series.
A lot of Gooden's boards came on the offensive side. He had he had over half of his boards with seven offensive boards.
That's
so
impressive.
I don't see that happening again. I hope not.
He's a rebound. He has been a rebounding beast. The guy's 84 years old, but he can still play.
You're right.
I mean, Scola, sure, he could be great, but I like Gooden.
I just think that they need
Scola's
Luis Scola.
cheaper too.
Yeah, he is by 500.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens there.
All right, center. We need some centers out of you.
I have Gortat. I think we all agree he's a must-start with the centers that are given out there.
Yep.
He's 13,801, and he's playing really well. So, no, yep, okay, crickets.
Well, because who's going to get?
Yeah, I mean, we're all assuming yes. Gortat,
who's going to get the
for
boards
sure.
for Indiana? Like nobody's rebounding in this series.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
pretty
know.
much, hey, Paul George, go crash the boards. All right, cool. I'll get
Pretty
some.
much.
Hey, don't sneeze on David West. All right, he's playing his heart out.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, but David West,
is playing great.
guess where he plays? Away from the basket. That's pretty much his game.
No, it is not.
They
he
rely
shoots away from the basket.
Yeah,
He's
rely-
he's down there rebounding all the time.
I think their normal offense relies more on Hibbert to be around the glass, but he's not. So.
Correct, and he fails.
Yeah,
He fails
so-
miserably at it.
So I'm going to go the DeAndre Jordan route for my second center, but I also have Kendrick Perkins in, John.
Yeah,
so,
K-Perk.
So I love DeAndre still. I know he's high priced, but I think he'll bounce back. As far as Kendrick Perkins, he's 55.95. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but you know what? Honestly, like you said before, you have to put.
He was the third highest scoring center on Star Fantasy League the last 2 times he's played.
With like single digits.
Okay, if you have to have 2 centers and the third guy
I know.
got 7 less than your 16,000 guy, that makes sense.
I know. I like DeAndre's chances to put up a pretty decent game.
Lance Stevenson bounce back game tonight.
Yeah,
Check it out.
Who rounds up? Was that your entire lineup?
No, the last one's going to be George Hill. I actually like George Hill, and I considered him versus J.J. Redick, but I think George Hill fills more of the stat sheet, so I like his chances to put up a decent game.
And I've gotten an A in too.
Yeah, I think
Bounce back Lance Stevenson, who was very disappointed in his performance last game, openly talked about it, said that he needs to step up his energy.
All right, baby Lance, you got to do it. You need to step up if that team has any chance of not going down in 5.
We all know he's got the potential to have a huge game.
That's true, and we have the potential to have an amazing John Olds mailbag coming up after the break because, let's be honest, it's John Olds mailbag time, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
The Star Fantasy League show. Information is key to being a successful fantasy team owner, and the guys have all the updated info you need right now. Okay, fantasy sports fans.
There's a letter in your mailbox.
Time to dig into Donald's mailbag for your questions and comments.
Read the mail, read the mail, read the mail.
Jump in the game. Send your questions and comments to the Star Fantasy League's team by tweeting at SFL Show.
Tweet us, please.
Do it.
Do it. Just tweet us.
Do it now.
At SFL Show if you want to have your voices heard. If you want to hear something of your voice on the radio, send us a voicemail.
We will pick you apart.
Send us your pager number.
We'll pick you apart. You're scaring people off.
Yeah. And actually, you know what? If you like to be berated and yelled at, we will certainly do that. Tell us who you don't like.
Say something stupid.
Yeah, if you say something stupid, we will definitely bring you up on the air. We've done that before.
Say something intelligent and we'll give you slight credit.
But let's be honest.
Most of the time that won't happen.
Yeah, even when Nick says smart things, we still make fun of him for it.
Yeah, and he gets red.
Yeah. And then he gets mad. Yeah, you didn't get too fired up today.
Yeah, but there's different shades of red.
There's different shades of gray.
There are.
He's strawberry.
There are.
Strawberry teddy bear, too.
There's a heated red. There's a blustery red. There's a
Blustery.
Wow. That's a little weird.
Like windy?
That's
oh
weird.
yeah, no, that's not.
Yeah,
right. Well,
that's-
yeah, actually,
No.
it's like when your face gets red in the wind.
That's not the word blustery, but okay.
Whatever, I said the wrong word.
Oh, now he's getting that color of red.
There you go.
Good.
See?
All right.
There it is.
All right, we need to jump right into John Olds mail. There's a lot to talk about today. A lot of interesting stuff happening. Reggie B is going to start us off, though. Kevin Durant gave quite the acceptance speech after winning the MVP. How does this rank on the scale of memorable acceptance speeches? You guys see this?
Yes,
Yeah.
I watched this whole thing.
Incredible, right?
I was
Very nice.
extremely moved. I thought it was so genuine in the way that he talked about his mom, talked about his youth, talked
his
about his
upbringing.
teammates.
His mom really woke him up in the middle of the night to do that. That's wow. Just wow.
And just to say that how lucky he felt that he was and how he, what he said was that they weren't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you can tell that these stories, especially in the NBA of all sports, these stories happen all the time where somebody is growing up and able to shoot on a hoop in their younger days and love the sport so much that they continue to play it, and they end up where they are. And Durant has worked so hard to be where he is, and also talking about that it was a platform for him to inspire people. I mean, it was just, I was moved to tears.
Yeah,
It was unbelievable.
I mean, race aside, because I know we know, the NBA has a very high percentage of African American players. The fact of the matter is that regardless of your race, color, creed, whatever, basketball is actually a sport that is very affordable to play. So you see that played in very underprivileged areas. And when you see a guy like Kevin Durant come out of an underprivileged area, make it to where he is right now, and actually have the sensibility to remember how he got there, it really is moving. And I mean, my favorite part was when he said, I can't believe how, I'm crying so much, Well, it's real emotion. The guy's a real person, that somebody to really look up to.
Yeah,
so.
It was very raw. It wasn't formulaic. He said, it seemed like he said everything that he wanted to say.
Yeah.
He even, for all the things that we have said about Russell Westbrook, he came out and supported him.
And Scotty Brooks, too. He said this doesn't exist. You don't get enough credit for all of this that's happening.
That's the thing about him, man. I mean, he's always going to support everybody around him. He's always going to have that positive attitude. And when you have a leader like him on your team, everybody else can step their game up around him. It's really cool to see.
I was very impressed by how he said to the young kids, I didn't know much about you, but I became your best friend. You're my best friend. All this stuff. I'm inspired by you. Yeah, I'm inspired by you.
He said he got that note in his locker from Caron Butler.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was just so awesome. It was so exciting to see. Absolutely deserving MVP.
Now we kind of know why nothing's happening on the trade front with these guys.
Yep.
It just seems like this is a true brotherhood, which is very rare. Like in Miami, you don't see these guys supporting each other like this.
Yeah, that's very true. Didn't think of that. Very true.
Miami, stupid team. LeBron goes up there and does stand-up comedy. Kevin Durant's up there crying because it's means so much to him. LeBron's like, get more millions now.
Well, I mean, let's also remember, this. It's kind of surprising that this is his first MVP.
Not really.
Okay, but if LeBron James wasn't in the league, who would be the MVP every season?
Kevin Durant?
Yeah, I mean, he has to compete with somebody who is literally as good as. I mean, wow.
We're
talking about a once-in-a-lifetime talent, and we're watching two of them in the NBA.
He put up a stat line this year that nobody's done since Michael Jordan.
Yeah,
so.
Correct. I mean, it was an incredible season.
Very worthy.
Yep.
Yeah, we have 2 top 10 talents ever, most likely, when this is all said and done.
Very true.
Well, Kevin Durant has a possibility to get. LeBron's obviously there.
He just has to keep healthy.
Yep.
He'll get there.
All right, let's move on. Derek writes, Steve Kerr, a possible frontrunner for the Knicks head coaching vacancy, voted for Tim Hardaway Jr. as the Rookie of the Year. Do you think there's an ulterior motive to this move based on the news?
This is atrocious.
This might be the funniest thing I've ever seen.
This is honestly atrocious. I can't believe that happened. I don't know. I mean, I don't really understand what cute little angle you would take doing that. But if that's not what's going on, then I don't really understand how somebody who is vying to coach one of the best franchises in the history of the league.
One of the most expensive.
Yeah, most expensive, valued, followed. Why he would make that type of decision.
I think it's just a joke all around. I really do. How do you even think that Tim Hardaway was even a candidate for being the Rookie of the Year?
I mean, let's not. He was technically, statistically, the 4th best rookie, so it wasn't completely out of there.
He was the 4th best. So
I understand.
Okay, who are the other ones in front of him?
Oladipo and MCW were 1 and 2 in PER for rookies. Mason Plumlee actually got the 3rd most votes. He wasn't that bad in PER. Hardaway was 12.79 PER, but MCW was far and away the best player, rookie.
Yeah, but even Oladipo is far and away from Hardaway.
Yeah, actually in PER they were only a little bit separated, which is usually what people go off.
These are players, in MCW and Oladipo that actually factored into their team's success a heck of a lot more than Hardaway.
Well, what success for New York?
What success for Philly?
Okay, but At the same, but you're talking about a rookie that ran that offense in Philly. He had nobody around him. If you put him on a different team, if you put him on any other team that actually had a playoff shot, we're talking about a different story here.
How many times did you look at Tim Hardaway? I mean, I saw some games where I was like, okay, this guy can obviously shoot. We already knew that going into it. He could end up being a big talent in this league, potentially, if he can continue to grow his game. But MCW and Oladipo were guys that came on the scene and put up big games. MCW, obviously, further ahead than that.
The first game of the season, he had a triple-double.
Right, but Oladipo as well. I mean, he was a guy that is clearly a very, very big raw talent, and he's got a high ceiling.
Do you notice how we're not talking about any the top picks except for Oladipo? I believe MCW was the 10th pick this year, the 11th pick.
Yeah.
We're not talking about anybody out of the top 10 except those two. Plumlee, I don't think was in the top 10, right? So pretty much all these guys are coming later in the draft. This is incredible if this keeps happening.
It was definitely a very thin draft in terms of talent at the top.
Oh, yeah. Plumlee also got 2 first-place votes, so let's not just crap on Steve Kerr. We just all crap on the 2 guys that voted for Mason Plumlee as number 1. That's crazy.
Well, I mean,
crazy.
And the Warriors story coming out lately, that kind of throws another question into the mix because he's being considered for the Warriors job too.
You know what? Yeah, let's get right to that. That's actually on the docket as well. Stephen S. writes, Mark Jackson was fired after the Warriors' first-round exit.
Ridiculous.
Was this the right move for a team that has title hopes in the very near future?
No.
Yeah, Steve Kerr we're talking about. He's being courted by not only the New York Knicks, which they said that's probably where he's going to end up.
Just a blank no from TB2.
Kerr's being also courted by the Lakers, the Warriors, Utah, and obviously the Knicks. What the heck is going on here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's absolutely. How do you fire a guy that literally stepped up and improved season after season like Mark Jackson? Because it doesn't. He literally just big leaps forward every season. Oh, come on! Look at the records.
This is the best record that they've had in. I don't even know how long.
The first season
Decades.
they had it was something like
it was
the best record.
20-something wins.
I think this might have been one. I can't remember.
This was his best. This was the best record that they had since he came on.
They were 20.
Yeah,
okay,
since he came on, but
first year 23-43, second year 47-35.
Best record that they've had since 91-92.
Yep.
Okay.
When they lost in the
best record they've had since 91-92.
And you're going to fire him?
And you're going to fire him.
You know what Lacob's reasoning was for all of this?
Being
he said
terrible.
He compared it to being like a startup business in Silicon Valley where you have a CEO that takes you to a certain point, and then you need to get rid of him and hire a new CEO that takes you from that level up to the next level, and so on and so forth.
It was so clear that Mark Jackson and management, for whatever reason, didn't get along, but sometimes you need to sacrifice your pride, your crap, whatever the hell you have going on, for the good of the team. I mean, this has been going on all year in terms of the front office and him. I don't know what exactly was being said, what the mishaps were, but clearly they felt that it was unrepairable.
I think they have a bigger task ahead of them now because all of the players liked Mark Jackson. They all liked to play for him.
Well, the weird thing is the players really liked him. They're standing up for him. But apparently there was issues with assistant coaches. The guy who basically built their defense was let go with a couple months left in the season. Some assistant coaches were reassigned. Like a lot of weird stuff. Them in Brooklyn, they had some weird assistant coach issues this year. I mean, there's disarray when that happens. You don't want to see issues like that.
It just seems like turmoil right now because, it reminds me on a higher level than the Raiders when they had that solid record with Tom Cable.
Yeah, it was like 8-8, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 8-8, which was their first time in however long.
And they got let go, yeah.
And he got let go. And it just seems like that's the type of thing that's going on is where they're just turning around management.
But with Cable, there was still some negativity in that locker room. With Jackson, it just doesn't seem like any player has an issue with him. None of the players have an issue with him being the coach.
All right, I want to bring this up real quick. These are names being floated out there. Thibodeau's name is being floated out there as a possibility because of the defense. They kind of brought the defense back this year.
Why would he leave Chicago?
Exactly. Steve Kerr's name, obviously, and Stan Van Gundy's name has been floated out there. Why would you ever bring Stan Van Gundy into this team?
Fire Mark Jackson and bring in Stan Van Gundy.
It doesn't make any sense. There's got to be a lot more to the story that we don't know.
There has to be, right? Because when you said, they loved the coach.
That's important.
Where's the issue here?
The importance of that is so underrated.
Yeah, but when a front office takes that type of view of a coach when they can't get along, they feel like they're going over their head, and they feel like they can't control him.
They want to put that ends
up being a volatile situation.
Yeah, they want to put one of their own guys in the reins, right?
I'm with you, Mark Jackson. I'm on your side, buddy.
He'll get hired. He'll be hired quick.
I don't know if he coaches this year. I'm really not
think
sure.
He does.
I hope he'll be back at ESPN because he was sweet.
That is true. All right, coming up after the break, we're doing value plays of the day for Thursday on StarFantasyLeagues.com, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
Play fantasy sports for cash prizes. Join the top daily and weekly fantasy leagues in the country at StarFantasyLeagues.com. Now, back to the Star Fantasy League show with Donald, Teddy Bear 2, and the Deucey Moose. Only on the team.
I'm not going to lie, guys. That's music to my ears. We're back with Donald, Deucey Moose, and Teddy Bear 2.
What up, baby? What up, TB2?
Okay, we just got a little bit... You know what? I'm banning voiceover guy from saying that if you're going to be awkward like that. I'm banning
awkward?
him.
That wasn't awkward.
I
That
think
was
it's
just
fresh. I think that's fresh.
All right, whatever you want
What
to
is
call
this,
it.
like the Hip Hop Network? What's
Yeah,
going on
seriously.
here?
All
This
right,
is
Will
the
Smith,
Star.
you calm it down.
Yeah, this is the Star Fantasy League show. You calm it down, please. Don't calm it down too far though. We got your picks. StarFantasyLeagues.com. We're doing baseball value plays. We're doing basketball. We're doing hockey. We got 3 sports going on Thursday. Big day.
I don't know why you have to tell our viewers that you don't like hip hop.
I didn't say I don't like hip
That's
hop.
what it seemed like. It seemed like you put a bad name to hip-hop.
Oh, that's not fair.
Funky Fresh.
Okay, that's the part I don't like. All right, let's start off with baseball. Zach, I believe you have something you'd like to get off your chest. A new segment, I believe. It's called Stanley's Statology or Stenology, right?
Does that even make sense? Well, that's what Statology, does that exist?
No, it's not a real thing.
Okay, well, that's what we came
We're
up
going to
with.
call it Stanology. Tell us exactly what it is.
All right, we're going to give a little rundown over the next week or so of stats that you really want to look at when you're making your DFS MLB lineups that you might not think about since you're a novice, because we know you're a novice out there.
Oh, stop that.
Well, not all of you.
That's okay. We all have to start somewhere.
But that's true. Things you actually want to avoid when it comes to daily fantasy baseball. Batting average, ERA, whip, wins, batter versus pitcher. All of these stats are essentially unreliable when you're looking for guys that really need to produce, and I will tell you why. Okay?
Can you start with the batter versus pitcher? Because I'm actually very curious about why you think that's not
because
a
the
good stat.
sample size isn't large enough. Even if you have a player who has 100 at bats against a certain pitcher, it's still not large enough for you actually to be able to rely. You have to look at why that might have happened, and the reason usually that has to do with splits. It has to do with how that pitcher is pitched historically. All sorts of things like that. There's tons of other metrics that are much more reliable than the actual batter versus pitcher itself.
Fair enough.
So today's stat is BABIP.
BABIP.
Which stands for batting average on balls in play. And what it basically does is it estimates a hitter's luck, which usually regresses to a career average. So a player's getting on base a lot more than they should. Usually you want to steer clear of this because there's a reason that they're getting on, and usually it has a lot to do with luck. So if you see somebody who has a high BIP, they're up in 400, 450, something like that. It's not as reliable as you might think because they might be getting a lot of bloopers, different things like that. They're going to eventually regress towards their regular average.
So what would be a strong number that we're looking for in that category?
You're not looking for a number that's good.
You're looking for
him being around his average. So if you're looking at recent stats, you're looking at stats for this season so far, and he has a high BABIP, it's going to regress. It's going to come back down. So you shouldn't be relying on that higher average.
What if it's like a little bit low? Are we looking for that to go up then?
Yes.
You want to find guys that are low. It means they're getting unlucky. It means you're hitting line drives that are hit hard. They're getting caught. Like things that are caught at the wall. Those go against you in BABIP.
I think I'm starting to understand.
Yeah, it is like he said. It's the luck factor. It's the things that you don't really see. It just counts as an out, except in BABIP where they're accounting for the fact that like you hit something a hard grounder to short that like an amazing play was made. They actually account for that.
All right.
There's a lot of crazy stats.
Yeah, baseball is all full of it.
Yeah, that's why Stenology. That's why we're doing that.
And
I
on
actually really like that.
Thursday we'll be back with another one.
Oh
yeah.
Look at that.
Oh yeah.
All right, so now that we got Stenology out of the way, it's time to give your plays of the day, your stacks, all that good stuff for Thursday on StarFantasyLeagues.com.
It's hard to shy away from Joey Bats right now. It really is. He's batting .302 with 9 home runs and 20 RBIs. I know I basically just told everybody to forget about the batting average, but it's fun to rattle that off.
But come on now. I mean, Those are things that you can clearly see. He's hitting the ball well.
You don't throw it out altogether.
You don't throw it out completely. Obviously, if you have a guy that hits 200 career, you might want to reconsider taking him.
Yeah.
Recently, he had a 13-game hit streak. That's over, but he's been on base safely in 34 straight games. And in Rogers Center this year, he has a .333 batting average compared to a .257 batting average on the road. Might be the best hitter's park in the AL.
Yeah, I mean, he's also got 3 home runs against A.J. Burnett in his lifetime, so that's something that you always love to see.
A.J. Burnett.
Yep.
Declining veteran.
I mean, he hasn't been terrible this year. He's 2-1 with a 2.06 ERA. He's got 35 strikeouts, but
he's a loser.
Yeah, he's in Rogers Center. Rogers Center's a good hitter's park. So, I mean, I don't know. Toronto's pretty offensive.
Joey Bats.
We need a pitcher from you, Zach.
Hisashi Iwakuma, who is on Seattle going up against KC. We know, well, we're not certain if you hear the name, but you can infer that this guy is from Japan, and he's playing in Seattle, which is a great pitcher's park. Career versus KC, 1 win and 9 Ks, 4 hits, no runs, and the batters, his career 5 for 35 against him.
Wow.
So
that's pretty damn solid.
Pretty good. 24-11 career numbers, 2.89 ERA. Coming off the DL, he's only made 1 start, but he's looking good. He's looking sharp. I think he's going to be ready to go tomorrow.
You got any value plays, little nuggets of wisdom for us? Either you, Zach or Nick. Either you got some wisdom for us?
Yeah, how about Drew Stubbs, who's going up against Matt Harrison? And Matt Harrison has coughed up 5 runs and 13 hits in his last 10 innings. Stubbs is, starting to really, really kill it. He's batting .311 in Colorado. He's on a hot streak. I mean, Coors Field, really? Is this a joke?
It is. I've seen the box scores from past couple games. It's been 10, 9, 12. Just like nuts numbers.
Colorado is far and away the most offensive team in the majors this year. Mm-hmm. They're scoring more runs than anybody. Well over 2. They're over 200 runs scored. I think second place is like 170.
They're offensive, but not offensive.
Yep.
Because
very true.
That's a different team.
And Stubbs is hot right now. So, take a little bit of solace in recent performance.
Yep.
All right. Anything else?
Well, I've got my stack. Of course. My stack is Colorado, who has just been absolutely unbelievable. Troy Tulowitzki, 18 for 22 in his last 22.
You going what? Cargo Tulo always?
Well, don't forget about Charlie Blackmon. Charlie Blackmon is a guy that's come on. Yes, he is, but he is also coming on very hot.
Now, how about Nolan Arenado, who is on a 26-game hit streak?
That's pretty nice.
26 games. That's one of the biggest we've seen in quite a long time. Also like Brandon Barnes, Jordan Pacheco, and obviously, and I already mentioned Drew Stubbs.
Yep.
So
that's a lot.
You want to target the right-handed batters in this lineup because it's a favorable matchup.
Face of the lefty at Coors Field. Oh baby, there's gonna be some bombs in that game. All right, let's move on to NHL real quick. Who do you got? We got 2 games going on. Is Corey Crawford playing? Because if he is, we know what's happening.
Corey Crawford is not playing tomorrow night.
Okay,
good. The first game is Boston and Montreal, and Montreal has been they are in control of this series completely. I mean, the only time that they have let down is in the third period. The Bruins have scored 8 out of their 10 goals in this series in the third period. So if they can shore that up, I like their chances to run away with the series. So PK Subban is definitely the leader, but that Eller, Bork, and Gianta line have become so important that they're being called upon in really important situations. So keep stacking them. They're still really valuable. On the opposite side of everything, Patrice Bergeron, he got a goal last night, so he is up to 7 games in a row with a point. 13,808 is not too high for a top skater, so take a look at him. But Tuukka Rask has been off. He has an .884 save percentage.
What
That's
about
not good.
What about really Corey Crawford last night? Woof.
Yeah, well, okay, but, that game was 0-0 going into with 15 minutes left in the third. They scored 1 goal, and the floodgates started to open, so?
The 5-hole started to open.
All right, whatever.
All right, what about the other game? Anybody we should be targeting in there?
Yeah, I'm going to target Ryan Getzlaf as my skater of the night, and the reason is because of I really liked what I heard from him after after Game 2. He was angry at himself for the way that he's been playing. He is the type of guy that is a very emotionally driven player, and I really like his chances to come back, and I like Anaheim to actually take the game. I know it's not a very favorable situation for them in LA, though. So
where are you going for goalie then?
For the goalie, I'm going to take Carey Price because I really like the way that he's been playing against Boston. Like I said, if they can shore up their third period play, they might be able to take the series in 5. I'm still going to stick them at 6. So we'll see, though.
Two goals in the first 5 minutes of the third period for Minnesota last night.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And then it was pretty much over from there.
Well, yeah, so there you go. But, I mean, there's plenty of picks in the Anaheim-LA game. Matt Bolesky came back up to the first line. They need him to produce if they're going to win. Patrick Maroon and Matthew Perreault are on the power play for the Ducks, so those guys are both really reasonably priced. On the other side, Marian Gaborik has been unbelievable. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists in the series. So if you want to throw some Kings in there, make sure he's in.
All right, we got to move on to NBA. We got a few minutes left. There's only 2 games. Every day it's just 2 games. It's really sad. It's going to come to an end soon, but we got 2 games that were just quite the blowouts, I'd say. We just complained about it.
Though.
Yeah, hopefully these can stay a little bit closer because that will make us all happy.
You got to believe that they will. They have to.
It's really difficult for fantasy purposes when there's a blowout. You can't account for it. You really can't, especially in the playoffs like this.
I don't know. It looked like Brooklyn's minutes are really catching up to them. They can't put those starters out there for enough minutes to compete with the younger guys.
Yeah, let's talk about that game really quickly. Joe Johnson's still putting up numbers, 11,039. He's still a must. He's really leading that team. I'm very surprised we're showing
It
this.
is surprising. It's great, though, for them because they need a scorer.
Yep, and Paul Pierce definitely looked a little old in that game.
He did. He just didn't have the speed to shake anybody, even with his slow little juke moves that seem to work out every time, which is awesome.
Yeah. And on the other side of the ball, I'm very surprised. Chris Bosh had a great game, 12,834, almost 30 fantasy points. He did a lot more than we expected on the show.
He certainly did. It doesn't come as a surprise, though, when Bosh puts up something in the high 20s. It can happen anytime he gets his shot going.
Right now, too, with the fact that there's so few centers to pick from, you might have to play him. He's a really good value at the price.
He's inexpensive. All the centers around the same spot, to be honest, are between 9 and 13.
I was kind of surprised at the way Anderson played. He put up a few fantasy points. I mean, nothing spectacular, but pretty good value return there.
He was all right. I mean, I prefer somebody like Boris Diaw.
I should have left Anderson in.
Yeah? Diaw got a lot of points in that game. I think he had 16, 17. Not too bad. All right. LeBron, obviously, if you can afford him, probably good, although he didn't really play that much in this game. He kind of
No, he didn't. I mean, he did. He basically just did what he was supposed to do out there.
But D-Wade, what a waste. He's a nothing. He really isn't. Even in the game like this, it's like, you're kind of just shooting around.
Do you think their chances are hurting now because of that?
I mean, it looks like he's just getting rest out there, to be honest. I don't really know if he's just going through the motions or if they have that extra gear again.
I'll tell you what, the Spurs just looked like
machine.
They looked like the team that got to the finals last year.
I'm very happy I stuck with my San Antonio-Miami pick. I'm very happy about that.
Well, I mean, they're like a well-oiled machine. They just know what to do when it comes down to the playoffs.
Yeah, let's talk about this game right here. Lopez showed us a lot. I really don't know how much we can account for the stats that were in this game, to be honest, because it was a lot of blowout minutes. Like I said, Aldridge put up a lot in garbage time.
It looked like Tony Parker took it personally.
Yeah.
He really took that game personally against Lillard.
He had a really bad first round. These guys, when they played in the regular season, kind of went at each other anyways. So Lillard,
solid game 7 for Parker.
Yep.
And he came storming into the series. I think that Robin Lopez could end up being the deciding factor in this series in terms of what he is able to do down low, because he does have a great matchup against a young Thiago Splitter, and I think that he could end up being one of the defining characters on the team. I just don't. The problem is that their bench is just. I mean, you saw it last night.
It's bad.
It didn't matter whether it was the starters, which can happen anytime. Anytime starters can blow out starters.
Yeah.
But when those benches came in, it just got worse.
Yeah.
So
I still wouldn't shy away from someone like Damian Lillard at 15,188. He did have 6 turnovers in that first game. He still played okay. He shot the ball. I think it was like
only
15
fantasy points.
Yeah, that was
bad. But
yeah,
he should have a big bounce back game. I think he's got bigger upside than Tim Duncan, who's a little bit more expensive than he is. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I might shy away from him after that because maybe they play him well.
Point guards love to torch Tony Parker.
That is very true.
Could just as easily happen in game 2.
Tony Parker and Lillard. All right, who's your play of the day, real quick?
My play of the day tomorrow is LaMarcus Aldridge.
All righty, I'll go with LeBron James since you took LaMarcus. All right, coming back for the break, we're recapping all of our day's value plays on StarFantasyLeagues.com, and you're listening to the Star Fantasy League show on the Sports Byline USA Network.
You're listening to the Star Fantasy League show. Contact the StarFantasyLeagues.com guys via Twitter at SFL Show.
Won't you tweet us, please?
Won't you tweet me?
Oh, God.
It's another made-up song.
Yeah, that's a little uncomfortable.
That was very nice.
Although, I'll be honest, it's a lot better than you talking about food randomly on the end of the show. Don't do it. We can't talk about food anymore because we have to wrap up our value plays on StarFantasyLeagues.com for Thursday.
Don't you miss talking about blood sausage?
Not at all. 0% of me misses that, I'll be honest.
Do.
All right, NHL, we got 2 games on Thursday. Nick likes Ryan Getzlaf and Carey Price. I really hope for your sake that you're wrong on Carey Price. I just want the Bruins to
You mean for your sake?
I just said, for your sake.
You said for your sake.
Go, Carey Price. Go, Canadians.
Oh, God. All right, in Major League Baseball, Zach likes nobody because you're bad.
No, actually, I did give you multiple players.
Yeah, I know. You like Jose Bats. Jose Bats. I'm just going to call him Jose Bats because his name's not Joey. Stop it.
It is
Jose
Joey.
Bautista.
It's also not Bats, so...
That'd be really funny if that was actually his name. His name's Joey Bats. Jose Bautista. And Iwakuma pitching against Casey at home in Seattle. Nice little pitcher's ballpark. And in the NBA, LeBron and LaMarcus Aldridge. You're not going to be able to get both of them in your lineups unless you're a crazy person.
I tried.
Did you? It didn't work out.
It didn't work.
No, of course it didn't.
I was close, though.
You don't think Tony Parker could just have a nice little repeat?
He could.
Of course.
Of course he could.
I mean, he was a stud.
But LaMarcus had almost 50 again. I mean, he's in the playoffs. He's been absurd. I know he got most of them in garbage time, but seriously, who's guarding him? Timmy Duncan's too old. He really is.
Well, Tim Duncan also has a much different cycle of minutes. So Tim Duncan will, sometimes end up getting bounced out, like with 3 minutes left in the first quarter. It all depends. But regardless, LaMarcus Aldridge is probably going to see 5 to 6 minutes more than Tim Duncan throughout the course of a game, which can be huge.
Yeah, I mean, I got to say, I feel like the Spurs are going to run away with this one. They have so much more depth.
What about the Heat?
Well, yeah.
Spurs Heat, baby. I think it's going to happen. I predicted it before the season started.
I'll tell you one thing. If Portland can come in and steal this next one, it's all going to be different.
That's true.
That might be true.
All
right.
Going back to Portland.
$5 free in your account. All you got to do is tweet us at SFL Show. Easy game, right? $5 free?
We'll give it to you.
Thousands of dollars in guaranteed prize pools each night on StarFantasyLeagues.com. We got free rolls in every single sport, including $50 free rolls on Tuesday and Thursday. A lot going on.
You're running out of time. Come get in the NBA and NHL action before it's all over.
You're never running out of time. We have free rolls every single day of the season. It is the best time to get involved. And if you two cannot pronounce Hisashi Iwakuma, neither can I. Take it easy, guys.